What was only minutes ago was an American-controlled portion of the military airport. Now they're taking over.
How's that make you feel? Two-pager today. How's that make you feel? I know my wife is furious about it. Okay. So these videos have been emerging. Joe had to cut a lot of video today for the show. He's working hard this morning. But videos have been coming out of Afghanistan. I know. Sorry. But these are really important that the public see these. You can hear also, if you're listening on audio, there's this reporter. He speaks English here. You'll hear in a minute. And you see him walking through the hangar with the Taliban. One thing about this video should disturb you is a lot of people, when they saw this video initially, they thought, oh, well, that's a video of Americans going to get their equipment. No, they're in American uniforms, carrying American weapons, wearing American helmets and American night vision goggles. But they are the Taliban. They are not our people. The Taliban took our equipment, our uniforms, everything. I'll bring up a point on that from our friend 279 in a minute, too. But here's the first video. It's quick. Them checking out the booty they took from their victory over Joe Biden. Check this out.
Here's one of the A-29s. There's an MD-530 over here. It seems we're basically approaching a big Taliban parade at the moment, and talking about a lot of stuff here, a lot of hardware. Wow. Well, here's the latest addition to the Taliban Air Force.
Yeah, there is the latest addition to the Taliban Air Force. Now, again, give you both sides of the story. The Defense Department is saying they disabled a lot of this equipment. They may have. I'm wondering how hard it would be to undisable the equipment. I mean, if anything, they gave them a bunch of spare parts for the planes they do have. Either way, we left behind equipment we should not have left behind. I think that's obvious. Is that really hard to figure out at this point? Here's another video. This is the one in the hangar. I got him a little backwards. Sorry, I actually sent him to Guy in the other order. But this is the, you're going to see them again going through the hangar. These are not our people. These are the Taliban checking out what appear to be Chinooks transport helicopters. And again, their new haul. At a minimum, they have some spare parts for the fleet we left behind elsewhere in Afghanistan. Check this out.
Oh. All right. We're here right now with the Taliban as they enter into what was only minutes ago was an American-controlled portion of the military airport. Now they're taking over.
How's that make you feel? Two-pager today. How's that make you feel? I know my wife is furious about it. That's our equipment right there. Again, you could say all you want, we disabled it. That may in fact be true. I trust very little coming out of our Defense Department these days. But at a minimum, you left them spare equipment and parts for the equipment you didn't disable, which we covered yesterday on the show. And as 279, one of the best sources I've ever had for information, helped us out during the Spygate case. 279 is in the military too, and said, one of the things we were taught during, I'm not going to say who he is or what job, but in the military was to memorize the enemy's uniforms and equipment. That way we never had a friendly fire incident. So we knew what the enemy's equipment looked like. We obviously knew what our equipment looked like because it was ours. He brought up a great point. You see where I'm going with this, Joe? Or where the 279er was? How are we going to be able to discriminate? God forbid we have to go back in there, or anybody does. How are we going to be able to discriminate between our equipment and our equipment?
Well camouflaged.
Well camouflaged. Joe, that is a great point. It's the best camouflage of all. It looks exactly like the thing because it's the thing. Great point, Joe. Best camouflage the enemy could ever have. Yeah, of course they can. He's like, well, you think they can sell the disabled equipment for part? Of course they can. How are we going to be able to discriminate if we have to go back between our guys and their guys when their guys look like our guys. This guy's a freaking disaster in the White House. Disaster.
You just heard the Dan Bongino